Productions presents Street Topics, and you don't want to get caught slipping. You don't know what topics they're going to serve you, from current events to politics, for topics that they don't even want to talk about. From old school remedies.
We run out of medicine. Grandma had our remedies. But I'm not going to lie. One remedy that I wish I could remember exactly what she had, but she mixed them together. And when by the time I got through with that, I must have been the most drunk. I felt drunk. I know I didn't understand what drunk, but now I look back.
Heated topics causing disagreements.
Negative, because that's what all of y'all like. It's just very heavy and negative.
Well,
so we're all
going
to have emotional conversations when we're just bashing each other.
On another show, we ain't negative, woman, girl.
No matter how heated the conversation may get, these gentlemen always come back together with solutions.
Better than this. You got to learn how to respect each other. Respect each other's differences. We're not supposed to all think alike.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Subscribe so you can stay connected to Soul Productions and Street Topics.
In the 2.5 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion, countless Ukrainian neighborhoods have been decimated or displaced. Now it is Russian residents being ordered to leave their homes. Around 120,000 have been evacuated since Ukraine began its surprise incursion across the border 1 week ago. It's thought its troops have since advanced miles into the Kursk region, pushing into the aggressor's territory, as President Zelensky put it at the weekend. A much-needed morale boost for his nation, for sure. For the Kremlin, though, it is humiliating, to say the very least. President Putin's top security officials had the unenviable task of telling him today that nearly 30 Russian settlements have fallen. The key question, clearly, what does Moscow do next? The Kremlin has vowed to drive out its enemy, but at what cost to its hard-won gains elsewhere?
For Russia's citizens, a taste of the bitter medicine their own army has been serving up in Ukraine. Emergency rations for thousands as they're forced to flee ahead of invading forces. In Kursk, the air raid sirens sound, and this woman told local television her car was blown up and she was injured by debris. In neighboring Belgorod, the governor himself supervised the exodus. The Russian people were promised a war of swift conquest, not rapid retreat. No wonder there's a spring in the step of Volodymyr Zelensky, who officially acknowledged the incursion for the first time, as his commander-in-chief claimed they now control almost 400 square miles of Mother Russia. By contrast, grim faces in Moscow as Vladimir Putin ordered his army to drive out what he called terrorists and saboteurs. But Ukrainians still have free run of the Kursk town of Sudza, according to this verified social media post. And one Russian official admitted, "We don't even know where all the enemy combat units are." Not since the Second World War has a foreign army taken such a bite out of Russia. Ukraine has staked several thousand of their best equipped crack troops. They've advanced up to 20 miles over the border, along a front line almost 30 miles wide. So far, 121,000 Russian civilians have been evacuated in the Kursk region, and another 11,000 from Belgorod, after drone attacks that suggest Ukraine's forces are close.
What's up, everyone? And as you can see, and there's some things going crazy overseas. This is another episode of Street Topics, and we have, of course, me as the host, Chris C. Holmes, and I have my guest by the name of Hassim. How you feeling today?
Oh man, I'm feeling well. I'm well. You already know. We gotta, we're gonna get kind of a little dirty because I have to apologize. Well, I don't.
Yeah, apologize.
I ain't gonna apologize for last time. Because little young Thundercat didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He just wanted to be on there just to say he was on a podcast. He didn't have no knowledge, no information in regard to the concept, especially when it comes to the military. And let me let y'all know this.
Oh God!
Just because your ass knows somebody in the military doesn't mean you know anything about the
you
damn
already
military.
Started shooting shots already.
Don't even try that shit. That's not any different than a man saying he trying to be a woman or a woman trying to be a man, and they steal a woman, they steal a man, and they don't know shit about each other. It's the same concept. So hey, when you talk from experience and not what you think.
That's how you feel right now. That's how you feel.
Man,
that's
what
I
always feel like that, man. You can't come with that bullshit. Now I accept that when it comes to my own brothers and sisters from the service, armed service. I accept it.
He said,
but shit, if your ass ain't been wearing the shoes and you ain't walking the walk and talk, shut the hell up.
God damn, I thought you was about to say if your ass can't cash a check, your ass can't just leave the fuck.
And they can't neither because all them cowards never joined the military.
Oh man. But what's going on? So we have all this stuff going on overseas, and it kind of gives me a little bit I could say World War II kind of vibe, just a little bit of it, nothing like the actual thing, because I saw from the video and then looking at some other things, people having to actually evacuate their own territory. I can just imagine how that feels. Like you growing up living at your home, enjoying happy memories, and all of a sudden you're getting bombed. I think because it's not in our home territory, I don't think people realize how crazy that is. What do you think?
I concur and I agree with you. A lot of people don't understand that situation because we're gonna be real. Is people here in America are baby. They still sucking on titties. And this is what I mean. And I mean is everyone expect here in the United States for somebody to baby them. They don't understand reality because they stay in fantasy. Until the fantasy is no longer.
We don't want to hurt people's feelings.
When you take the fantasy out of it and reality finally hits, then people panic, and that's when they can relate, because then people are not being so ignorant and so selfish. You
got to slow down for them.
So they can get it. So then that way they can have some kind of empathy, compassion for someone else. But in this particular situation, I look at it like this. If anyone knows how to play chess, then you understand that you have to play offense and defense. And in the game of chess,
tell checkmate, you can't move.
And when you're playing in a game of chess, this is what happens. You have your opponent thinking that you're going to move one way, and you distract them to go one way, while you making moves in a different way to be able to capture them. Now, how is that any different of what's going on now, where Russia is meeting with Putin? I mean, Russia is not, let me rephrase it. Russia or Putin is meeting with North Korea. He's already talked to China. This has been going on for years, and people in the United States have been blind and ignorant to the fact that one day the United States is going to get their ass whipped until 9/11. Well, it's going to come again, because when you have two superpowers like that that's coming together, have a common enemy, and that's the way they look at us, as a common enemy, because of some of the policies and things of that nature that's been more about greed and control, then you're going to eventually piss people off. Especially
what kind of policies you think is like getting over on people? Like,
you have you ever heard of economic hitman, where the government can go in and pay people, and not just pay people, sometimes they assassinate people to put other people in position So then that way they can manipulate or work or get whatever they trying to get or do whatever they want to be done in that particular country.
Economic hitman? The hell?
There's a book called Economic Hitman. And if you read it
Oh, that's some
and
shit.
you
right
pay
there.
attention, that is what United States has always been doing. But when people get sick and tired of being sick and tired,
that part.
then that is when people start fighting back. When you, like an innocent dog or a cat, you back them up against a corner or a wall.
Shoot,
That's
start
when
retaliating.
the claw, and this is what's going on. I see here is Russia is simply going to use their connections to attack in some way, some form the United States, because we have been providing.
I'm not ready for that.
We have been
Shout out.
providing all of the resources to a country
And
financial, while we go into debt with the sorry ass administration that we have now, that people don't want to recognize. This is the reason why we are in an our economy is so bad, our dollar is tanking so bad with bad politicians, and nobody wants to understand there's a difference between a politician and a businessman.
and
A politician is greedy.
And
A
let me bring
business
this
ain't
up
gonna do
too.
something for its own reason to benefit, and the benefit is basically the country.
And let me bring this up too as well. I don't think people realize how interconnected when it comes to trading. If you look at any kind of, like, say, especially electronic that we have here in America, it 9 times out of 10 is coming from like Japan, China, Taiwan, something like that, something overseas. We don't really make a lot of our own electronics like that. A
We
lot of
don't
times
make a
we
lot
have
of
that imported into our own country, and then we
You
sell
know-
them into
Do you know the
retail.
reason why?
I
Why?
want to hear you.
Why do people buy foreign goods?
It's cheaper.
Not just because it's cheaper.
You want to go deeper than that?
The quality is better.
Yeah, because they're more the expertise into it. It makes
It's
sense.
not that expertise. United States, the workers, more focused on, I want to get paid this, I want to get paid that, which is fine, but they focus more on that than the quality that they produce.
That happened a lot
So,
during like the label.
so they're more focused on the
movements.
capital and not the product. And if you understand, if you focus on the product and have a good quality of the product, the capital will come. They're looking at it completely different and in a upside down way, if you kind of look at it.
So are you saying like some of the things that happened during the World War II, a little bit after, how it hindered us as well? Because, you know, a lot of times that's when we had a lot of labor laws put in place to protect the war, not the war, but the workers. You think there's pros and cons to that?
During that time, from what I remember in my reading and studying, World War II was a time where we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice to get in and out, right? We had to step up. That was not a choice. Even though it was a choice, but not being in it would have been a bad choice, if you understand what I mean. But this situation here, you know, our government has really messed up, and the people have voted for the wrong folks to be placed in office based on their emotions and not their logic, not using intellectual and not understanding there's a difference between intellectual decision and an emotional decision. And most people, majority of people that vote on emotion, or they vote because it's a cultural thing, or they vote because
Okay,
it's
so
just a
since we hitting on this, I'm gonna go ahead and say and put it out there, because I know we just discussed this on the phone before we got on the podcast. Why do you think, when it comes to this, Trump is a better candidate than Kamala Harris? I heard you earlier, but I went to the audience here.
One, Harris has not, without stealing someone else's idea as Trump in regards to the no tax on the tips, what other policies has she came up with that's not stolen? What other ideas can she come up with? Now, what other laws has she fought for Black people to be passed?
Besides
The anti-lynching law, it still has not passed. But yet you passed all these laws for Asian, Native American, I mean not Native American, Indians from India, Hispanics. You have all these laws for them, but you have not pushed or done anything for Black people. And just like Malcolm X have stated in his speech, the liberals are good at manipulating Black folks to get the vote and still don't produce what they claim to do.
What are you
and
saying?
If I'm lying, listen to the speech of Malcolm X describing the liberals and how they manipulate. And many people want to pick and choose certain quotes or certain things by Malcolm X. But if you listen to the whole speech, he's speaking the truth back then that still carry on to this day. Now, in regards to the Ukraine situation, I do not agree that we should have given them the amount of money that we have given them, on top of giving them weapons, on top of not getting anything in return. How can a small ass country, it's like going to the bank, you're going to invest in somebody. Like how can you invest in a company knowing good and well you're not going to get your money back? You're not going to get your investment back.
You know how long we've been.
But yet and still, because you lent that money out, how you gonna get that money back? So now you got to raise prices on your services and your goods to make somebody else pay for it, so they don't come out your pocket. And that is what the United States is doing, and that's why our economy is so fucked up right now.
But don't forget about tariffs too, because we do that a lot. Because we try to force our citizens to buy domestically by doing that as well.
And the United States has a bad habit of networking with people that do guerrilla warfare, invest in them, and those same people turn around and they go against the United States after they've been taught what the United States soldiers have taught them. Now, when enough is going to be enough? And if people are always saying do the research. Stop looking at the top surface. United States has a habit of doing that. And think about anytime someone stands on their own 2 feet and stand against the United States and the crazy shit, they put out media to criticize that person, making them like they're the devil themselves in regards to a dictator and this and that. And those people in those positions, for the most part, are doing better than people we have in office.
That part.
In taking care of their people. If you think about it.
So
look at Niger. The Europeans, France, they pissed off because old boy said, get the hell out of here. United States pissed off and saying, get the hell out of here. Because you're trying to get natural resources for free, which you've done for decades from slavery all the way to now. Now they're standing up. Now you want to make this man, make him appear as he's the enemy and he's a dictator. And now you're trying to get people to assassinate this man when this man is focusing on, when they say charity begins at home before it's spread abroad, that man is trying to take care of his country, just like people should be trying to take care of the United States before you start sending money out. We have homeless people on the streets. Some choose, but the ones that have not chosen, and you have homeless veterans that are struggling. Then you have single parents that are actually struggling, not trying to ride the damn system just because they some lazy ass motherfuckers.
No, please.
And you got borders, people running through the borders that's bringing in sex trafficking. And being here in Texas, you got the cartels bringing all that shit. And, you know, California got the cartels, you know, and they bringing all this chaos and shit. So the question is simple. Why are we taking care of somebody else when our house,
We
our
have a
home
bad habit of doing that a lot.
is messed up? Our house is not clean. Before we take care of somebody else's house, United States need to clean its own house. We still got problems with racism, and when you see white supremacists and stuff like that, would come with that old bullshit, but you ignore it. But when you turn around, you see minorities getting shot by the cop, like the young lady in Illinois. Where's the justice? See, United States love to put other countries to the NATO or the UN or to the World's Court to prosecute a country for, you know, human whatever I can't think of the name of it right now, for not taking care of the people, for mistreating their people. So when is, like Malcolm X said, when is United States gonna go to court? When are they gonna take United States to court for the shit that they're doing and still doing?
Real quick, I want to show this because this is something else we discussed earlier. Is you brought up Kamala Harris as basically studying the culture and other things.
That's all she did. She studied the culture. That's it. She studied it. She joined the sorority. She studied it, and she changed it. She changes her ways to fit.
So this is another thing that's getting highly debated. Conspiracy theories eating this up and much more. But they said Kamala Harris' birth certificate shared online after Trump questioned race, and there's back and forth discussion. Is she's, like you just said, actually African American, Black, or Caucasian, which has been heavily pushed through Trump's campaign, and there's a back and forth backlash, of course, after that.
See, you know the problem is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you know the problem is this. She's mixed, which is fine. I'm good with that. But when you can't say honestly with yourself, and it seems like a self-esteem issue, but people gonna just have to agree and disagree.
No,
it's a self-esteem issue.
We in the
because
there, you know,
I don't care what and who you are. If you really know your fucking self, then you can say, yes, I'm of Asian descent and Jamaican descent publicly. And I can understand both in some point. She never grew up poor. She never struggled. So how Black people going to vote for somebody that's never been in the struggle? And then
you're saying she's privileged?
She's privileged. So why are we still constantly voting for people that have grew up in a privileged environment and not grow up the way we have grown up, from the bottom climbing to the top? See, that's the problem with the Democrats, that a lot of people, especially Blacks, when they vote Democrat, they don't pay attention to, because they're so brainwashed about that. And that's the problem. Now, and what is she gonna do? Because
most to make some people mad, they're gonna be like, you can't be saying about that.
Most countries will not respect Harris because she's a woman. Most countries, especially in the Middle East, will not respect her. So how in the hell can you negotiate in an international policy? How can you negotiate on that level when, first of all, their culture do not respect a woman on that level, to the point where they just going to shut down. They don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Let me say this though too. Now, here in America, I'm not gonna lie. What you just said is gonna piss a lot of women off. They're gonna, how dare you? Just another over here.
Because that is the ignorance of the women here in the United States, simply because you want to act privileged because you are considered as an American, when in fact, when you go in somebody's house, when you go into someone's house, do you not respect the rules in their house?
You should. You better.
Okay, so if you respect the rules in somebody else's house like you're supposed to, that's not any different than a person going to another person's country. That's still their house. You still have to respect their rules.
And look, like I was trying to say earlier, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Here in America, we have definitely spoiled a lot of our women. Oh, I can tell people have to be pissed about that. I don't care, but it's true because I've had other colleagues said that the way that women act here in America, they're not tolerating that shit at all. You get your ass killed. Like you get mad at what I'm saying, but it's coming from over there. Like you pull the same shit that y'all pulling over here,
You
y'all gonna
will.
get killed.
You get stoned
And
to death.
they're not gonna have no remorse at all.
So the
At
thing
all.
about it is, why would you vote with somebody that has no plan, no policy, avoids questions from the media, and that's secretly being controlled by Obama in the back office?
Put Obama into this.
And then on top of that, you have someone that retired at 24 years in the National Guard, which is what I call weekend warriors.
Just wait a minute, pause. Did you just say weekend warrior? Like I'm gonna clock in, be a warrior, and I'm gonna clock right back out.
That's what a weekend warrior is, compared to a person that's
I'm clocking out
active
like 9 to
duty.
5. I'm clocking out like 9 to 5.
And you retire a year before you deploy. And I had this discussion with someone, an individual, and like I explained to them, we have to agree to disagree. Is regardless, it takes a year. You put your paperwork for retirement a year before you want to get out, and even though it dropped before he went to was scheduled to go to Iraq to go to combat, every military has a rotation, and when you have a rotation, you know next year is my rotation that I have to go to this, I have to go there. You telling me he did not know, being in 24 years and being in 24 years and being in the position that he was in, the highest ranking as an enlisted, that he had no idea that the rotation was coming, so that way he can put in his paperwork? I have seen people do that personally, put their paperwork in to avoid being deployed to avoid going to combat.
Because they don't want to get their ass shot. Yeah, I said it straightforward. Which makes him a weekend warrior. I'm gonna clock out. You better go to war. Oh, wait a minute, let me clock out. You know, I ain't supposed to retire. You know, I need to mix. I need
because if you think about it, a weekend warrior's family doesn't feel the same problem, the worries, the concern, the all of that for an individual that is on active duty 365 days of a year, all day for 4 years, and that is not included if they decide to re-enlist. That you're on duties 20 all that time, and you lose some of your rights in the military, where in the weekend warrior, you lose it while you're on duty, technically. But when you off duty and you wearing your regular civilian clothes going to a regular job, you can say whatever you want to say about the government because people ain't paying attention.
Not to mention,
there's a big difference.
Not to mention your life is on the line.
And they don't train as many days and as many hours as what we do, or I have done.
That's a whole nother perspective. Definitely is. So, what do you think about this? And correct me if I'm wrong, because Putin is the one that they're saying that may be on a retreat. Is that correct? Because
guess what? When you playing chess, sometimes you retreat to show and make it appear that you are running and you're weak, while your other pieces on the board is coming around in a different angle to tap that ass.
He's trying to tell you this may be a setup.
So I'm just saying, you don't count nothing out.
That is true, especially when it comes to war and guerrilla warfare.
You never count nothing out, because if it's not if it's not that way, he has North Korea and he has China on his side. Not only that, he got ships right there by Cuba. So if he wants to shoot at nuclear missiles from that location, he can hit easily Dallas, DC, and other countries. I mean, not other countries, other states, other cities. He can easily do that because he's parked right there.
Basically making
And the
all
United
major.
States has no control over Cuba. And you know what? That's
Yeah, no, I
United
don't.
States. That's United States' fault. And the reason why that's their fault, because how they treated Cuba, just like how they treated the Haitian or Haiti, and how they treat people in Africa. If you're of color, they don't want to really deal with you and the issues that goes on,
Okay,
or
so-
try to negotiate.
So we're gonna say this: when people think of Cuba, what comes to mind? What's the first thing that comes to mind? And be bold.
Black Spanish folks, different shades of color. Just like I look at Puerto Rico, Dominican, even though most people say people that are Dominican don't want to acknowledge that they are black or they came from black ancestors. You know, I've heard some of them say that. Just like the Haitian, they don't want to deal with that. If you notice, they do not want to deal with people of color. And that's a pattern. And I've always stated, if people pay attention to the pattern and stop getting into their emotions, then they can see the truth and not the fantasy that they always wanted to either read in the book and they think how it is. World is don't work that way. And that's why the United States always keep getting caught with their pants down, because we keep voting for the wrong people for the wrong reason. And then we want to blame everybody else. But the issue and the blame should be fall on the person that voted for that individual, knowing that person was no good and shouldn't have been put in office.
Because we vote with our emotions.
Exactly. Or they can't handle the pressure. Because I'm black, I have to vote for her. No, that's
Pause.
bullshit.
Right. No. Pause. Right. No. We ain't just gonna go over that. We gonna hit this one really good while you said that. You said because I'm black, I have to vote for her.
That is the mentality that is so tearing up the community so much that every other community is thriving except for us, but we don't want to see where we're fucking up at to know where we need to fix to be better, to be equal, or to surpass all our other people. That is the problem, because we still voting off on old mental shit that does not and have not ever worked. Republicans, blacks were Republicans until Johnson. And then it switched. And then when Johnson started handing out that free money, it was every black person started switching over. Majority of them started switching over to become Democrat. And it stayed that way. But when we were Republicans, guess what? We had the Black Wall Street. Blacks were Republicans.
Because we had to take accountability for our shit.
And there were others that we have been great during that time because we worked together. We had our community. We had integrity. We had pride. We had self-respect. We have lost all of that.
Now, I'm going to say this. I know it's going to piss people off again, but I don't care. And it's the simplest way I can say it. If you want to be catered to your every need and you want the government to take care of you and much more, Democrat. That is going to be most likely your choice. If you want the people to take accountability, step up, and respect the hardworking people that actually go get it, and much more, Republican.
And don't get me wrong, I'm harping on Democrats because right now they're fucking up so bad that it's to the point where people will not be able to afford to buy a house. People will not be able to maintain a house. When you have companies, mortgage companies, and other businesses buying land, building houses, keeping the houses to rent the houses out so they can have just making that money, that passive income over and over again, and they can play with, the rent however they want to. And you got folks in Congress who's making Nancy Pelosi. Look up, please post the House, the Speaker of the House average salary. I want you to post that because I want people to really to understand this shit. Because a lot of people talk, but they talk and don't know. And then when you bring up facts, they come with the but. I don't want to hear no
say this. My
I don't want to hear no
feel-
other but,
like
because
my
just
feelings
like
say
most
this.
white people would say, or if they don't say, they do. If it is not in writing and you can't validate it, it does not exist. And that's the way you or anyone that looks like us
Here
should
you
be
go,
looking
right
at
here.
it.
So speaking of the house
So
salary, $223,000 annually.
okay, now 223,500 annually, right? Speak of the house. Now look up the net worth of Nancy Pelosi.
Let's see. Let me find it real quick.
When you see her net worth, you tell me that we keep voting for the wrong people because
Oh
they
hell no, that don't make no damn sense.
show it. Show it. I want people to see this, and I want you to even call the number out. Show it.
171.
So that is her
million
net
point.
worth. But how much did she make annually? 223,000 and something.
What? Where's our? What does she has?
So look at what's going on in Congress. People don't pay attention. Our community don't pay attention to this. And for Nancy Pelosi just to want the black votes, but don't want to help the black people, which from I have not seen it, but allegedly there is a letter or an email stating, yeah, talk to the black folks, do this, get them pumped up to get their votes, but we're not going to do nothing for them. That's allegedly what's out there. Now, I haven't seen it myself, but I believe that because look at the pattern of the Democratic Party.
I want to throw this little twist into the our conversation. So we all know of Kim Jong, North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what he decided to do in the midst of all of this? Take a look as I share this, and I'll read it on the screen. Russia sends 447 ghosts to North Korea after Kim Jong sucks up to Putin. And then I'm not going to go all the way through it, but basically it's saying goats for guns, as we had come spread out the press.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about this? Goats for guns.
It's another bartering system that has done for years. We used to barter until the banks, the private banks, decided, let me get this piece of paper, this little piece of paper, this piece of paper right here. Let me put a picture on it. Let me put some color on it, and let me say it has value. When it does not have any value, like what you think, it's an IOU. And then what the banks do, the private banks, it says, let me charge interest on this IOU piece of paper that don't worth nothing. Another IOU piece of paper, which is the interest on top of the IOU of what you owe.
Let me break it down for the people in the back, the people that may be sleeping because it may be going over here. Let me take it real simple. The dollar bill
has no value.
None value at all.
It's a piece of paper.
It really is just look. We basically said
it's a picture.
Look, we're gonna take this paper and we're gonna say that the value of this is $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever. And you are going to work your ass off just for this piece of paper because
that has no value. That has no value.
But it doesn't have original. But we're gonna claim that it has value, and this is gonna be a basically our trade system.
That's it. That's it. That is basically what, in a nutshell, that's done. Excuse me. I'm gonna send you. It's a video, a link to a video, and I'm gonna find that where it speaks about money, right? Because a lot of people don't really understand about money. You know what I'm saying? And because they don't understand about money, this is the problem why a lot of people talk, but they don't know.
And, we have a habit of making people mad and upset. because we
You know,
we don't.
I just sent it to you. Now, even though it's like a
we
little
don't cater
kiddie
to
version,
feelings.
but some people need the kiddie version to understand how money really works. And you can start and stop it however long, because it's like almost 30 minutes of it. But you can kind of skim forward, you know, here and there, you know, if you like and what have you. But you get to understand
Of the main gist is what you're saying.
Yeah. And not only that, I'll send you another one. So people understand how the government operates with money. So when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking just to hear myself talk. By no means. I'm speaking because I'm reading, I'm researching. The dollar has no value. I can go take a picture off the wall and say that value is $1,000. It's just a picture on a piece of paper.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do for each video. I'm just gonna pick a random spot and let it play.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and get it ready to share.
And people kill for a piece of paper that's made out of wood. That has pictures on it and color.
That part. That's what we do on a daily basis, though. I mean, we laughing.
If you want something that has value, buy you 0.999% silver coins and gold. That has value.
All right, random spot. Let's see what we're gonna get. Let's see if I can make this full screen.
And you just got to click the speaker so it on the screen.
Yeah, make sure I do that. Probably won't gonna let me go any bigger than this because I got what's going on.
That's cool. I mean, I just want them to.
Wow, this is great. It all makes sense. Oh, that's right. It was good. And everybody started using IOUs because everybody knew the IOU was as good as gold. Wow, this candy is really a good price. 1 IOU. I'm getting some more for later. Hey, wait a minute. It was just 1 IOU. 10 IOUs for chocolate? You can't just raise prices like that. Oh, the Candyman can. Oh, the Candyman can. Wait, that is just freaking wrong. It's called inflation, pal. It makes your IOUs worth less and less until they are worth nothing. Less bang for the buck. Dollar ain't what it used to be. But I worked hard and I baked all those pot pies. Now I have to work harder to make less? That's not fair. Oh, if you think that's not fair, you're going to love the next part. What's he doing? How do banks make money, pal? By making more loans? Oh, that's right. He's good. See, he prints more IOUs without any more gold, loans them out for interest, makes a pretty penny, and nobody is the wiser. Unless everybody wanted their gold back at the same time. No.
That part right there.
So money is really an IOU. Think about it, people.
IOU.
That's it. It has no value. The banks make you think it has value.
And we fighting and killing each other over this. Hey, look, I'll go even further. It's gonna look, we know piss people off. Look. I gotta go this far. We judge people over this IOU. We claim lifestyle over this. We claim you're not a man or a woman if you don't have this. We claim power over this. We claim territory over this.
So why is it that the United States make it where they're the only ones that can print and put ink and a seal on a piece of paper and say it has value and won't let nobody else do it?
Oh, but stop there.
So they can have the control.
Let me say this. But if you print the fucking dollar, we throwing your ass in jail. We throwing you.
So think about it.
And then I know it went over people's head, but in our casual conversation, and when I say our, I'm talking about everyday people, are constantly saying, man, I'm slaving at this job. I can't afford the things that I used to. The prices are going
up. It just
up.
That little clip right there kind of explains.
That was the baby version breaking it down for you. You're like, that's not fair. I
Now-
worked hard for this.
Now, show them, your listeners and your watchers, show them one of the clips for the other link that I sent you. That is called the Economic Machine. Now, Antonio T. Smith Jr. let me see this. He told me about it, and when I looked at it, I got pissed even more because there's some things they don't even teach you in school. They teach you just the
Of course.
very
And
minimal
culture is-
about money. But when you see and understand how the government plays with money, even though it has no value, and how it works, and how the Federal Reserve is actually the crooks. Because if you study history, if I remember correctly, Thomas Jefferson did not want any private banks in the United States. He was against it.
The whole
But
time. I
now-
definitely remember that.
And
That's what-
now,
yeah.
after him, they allowed the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank that has nothing to do with the government, and they're the
nothing.
ones that's printing the money, that they
Yep.
should be printing the money. And because they doing that, United States say they are printing the money, which they're not, because if so, then we should not be having interest on money that the United States is printing.
Blow people's mind. I don't think they're ready for that. So let me go ahead and play like I said. Archie is right. To federal prison you go. Oh, you printed money? Oh, we locking you up.
Exactly.
To federal prison you go. All right, so I'm gonna pick up a random spot, and who knows what I might end up into this one. These already said the controversy. So let me go ahead and start sharing the screen. Presenting. Switch over here. Breaking it down for the people. Y'all see this nice little screen. All right, let's go.
The reality is that most of what people call money is actually credit.
Holy shit.
The total amount of credit in the United States is about $50 trillion, and the total amount of money is only about $3 trillion.
$3 trillion. That's all we got. But they put everything on credit.
The only way to increase your spending is to produce more. But in an economy with credit, you can also increase your spending by borrowing. As a result, an economy with credit has more spending and allows incomes to rise faster than productivity over the short run, but not over the long run. Now, don't get me wrong. Credit isn't necessarily something bad that just causes cycles. It's bad when it finances overconsumption that can't be paid back. However, it's good when it efficiently allocates resources and produces income so you can pay back the debt. For example, if you borrow money to buy a big TV, it doesn't generate income for you to pay back the debt. But if you borrow money to, say, buy a tractor, and that tractor lets you harvest more crops and earn more money.
I gotta stop it right there. That right there is like $1 million clip by itself. $1 million clip. Because look, I know you about to speak, because do you know how often our asses, I'm talking about our culture too, go and finance some unnecessary bullshit that ain't got no kind of value.
Well, let me ask you this.
And then get mad if anybody else says anything and get yourself in further debt. Meanwhile, others take advantage of their credit score, which I keep trying to tell people, get your fucking credit up. Hey, I'm working on my damn self. And I wish we would have been put more focus on this as well, or like earlier, like everybody else. But they actually use that to get actual resources to actually finance, get houses, assets, and much more. And the banks trust them because they have a high established credit score. Because as soon as we come into the bank, they're going to be like, let me look at your credit score. Let me see how you credible and your debt to ratio and all. I'm like, oh, hell no. We can't trust you. 400? Oh, hell nah. Denied. We're sorry. Look, I recommend that you go over here to so-and-so with a high interest rate. They may be a better service, but for us, unfortunately, we're unable, but we wish you best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go and get this high interest ass loan.
Well, let me put some on your mind. First of all, this book here is a good book for those that want to get back on track. Napkin Finance, right? That's a good book. People that don't like to read, right?
spoon fed them like napkins. Like, you know,
Right. Now, second about credit. Why is it you have companies like Experian, TransUnion, Equifax holding our credit score and dictating our credit when technically they should not be doing that simply because they are not part of the federal agency called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They are truly the credit reporting agency. So why are those three holding our personal Social Security number and dictating our credit score?
That right there is a question among itself. So RC had a good point on it. Government spending money on a variety of programs, including national defense, transportation, education, veteran benefits, income security, healthcare, and international activities.
Yeah, they spend it, but how do they spend it? On foolishness. Remember last podcast, I had you to bring up how the DOD spent money on transgender dudes trying to be women and pay for the service.
Oh yeah, that right here. I mean, I was like, the what? We spending our money on this?
So she right, they do spend on a variety of programs, but within that programs, they're wasting money. And then because they're wasting money, then they gotta go into Congress and ask for more money.
All right, so look,
VA already $15 billion shortfall for us veterans to pay what they owe us.
So
$15 billion because they screwed up and not calculated correctly, which is not a surprise. They always screwing us veterans over. So they keep screwing up. And we keep voting for the wrong people. So are we still going to continue to vote for the wrong folks? That's not for our best interest. And for right now, I'm not a Republican. And I even on my podcast, I tell people straight up, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm about what is the issue. What are you going to do about the issue? I don't give a damn if you red or if you blue. And I totally agree with Ice-T when he said Republican and Democrat is not any different from the Crips and the Bloods. They just wearing suits. They gangsters. That's
that part right there. Now, I want to showcase this video as well. So, not too long ago, and we talked about this on the other podcast, but I have a video of someone else speaking on as well. When Kamala Harris was speaking on stage and brought all the artists and Megan Thee Stallion and all that much more. I know you went off, but hold up, just hold your thoughts. I know you're about to go off because I can just see from your reaction. But I'm gonna play this clip real quick and watch how he responds to this. And I have a feeling, Jasim, you're gonna love this. All right, so let's go ahead and get this ready.
I like this dude here. I love this cat here. I watch him.
Currently, the only president-elect whatever with no policies. Now, she recently had Megan Thee Stallion twerking at her convention and Quavo giving a speech, which rubs some people the wrong way. Now, their argument is saying that is this what they think they need to do to get the black vote? Who is the hood really with, bro?
For me, my brother, I don't understand what was presidential about that. What was presidential about having rappers? To me, it looked kind of like corny, and I feel like y'all playing us as black people. Like y'all playing us. Oh, we're gonna throw the rappers out there. We gonna that's what they into. Like y'all playing us like, oh, that's all we worth. Just throwing some rappers up there.
And niggas don't see that. Most niggas that still vote don't see
come on,
that
man.
shit.
So I just feel like they kind of belittle us a little bit as black people, and they kind of making us look a little goofy, man. A little bit. Not saying that wrong with none of these people who was there performing.
For sure.
These are good artists and good people, but that's not presidential. What they got to do with president? You feel what I'm saying?
What you gonna do when you get in there?
Right. Like what's going on? Why you what they supposed to mean? Like
yeah, they said she only spoke for like 30 minutes. She didn't even speak that long.
Yeah, and I'm not really like a very political type of person, but for me, I wouldn't vote for it. I don't know who to vote. I wouldn't even vote. I ain't voting for nobody. So I ain't voting for that because none of this at the end of the day, no matter who we vote for, them folks still gonna be running the world. We ain't really changing the damn thing until we come together for real as one. And all the black people and everybody like for real start doing what all these other coaches and other people doing. Like these folks spending their paper with each other. These folks helping each other. These folks staying down. These folks might be 7 deep in the 2-bedroom house till they get this shit together. Like we'll be hanging on each other for real. We see one of our other family members got there having the paper. What we're gonna do? We're gonna try to burn them down to the ground. Like give me something. Girl, you like somebody owe you something. Like it's so crazy, bro. So, but you know it get deep. You can't speak about too much political shit. Can't speak about spiritual stuff because everybody have they.
But you know,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, you know the thing about it is, if you do care about voting, you should care more about your local government, if anything.
For sure.
You know, the judges, the district attorneys.
That's what really matters.
You know what I mean?
That's what really
people
matters.
that's in your backyard. That's if you're gonna vote, that's who you need to vote. And make sure you do your research because those are people that's gonna directly affect your life. You know what I mean?
That's who affecting the community.
Right.
That's who you right.
Real talk.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his as well. So, and then another thing that I'm gonna let you digest this whole thing too. But another thing that I have an issue with us is like how he said in a brief moment they may be 7 deep, but they are putting the money together. I don't understand why our fucking culture wants to downplay and make fun of people staying at home when they're actually using money to actually build themselves up. Because other cultures be doing the same thing and getting advantage. I mean, I kid you not. There is a house that was tore up from the floor up, and everybody drove by it and was like, "That is a trashy ass house." Mexicans came over to that damn house. You see this whole family pull up in like a little car, wasn't nothing fancy. And years later, they put that. It's the nicest house on that corner. They have a fence. They got nice cars in it. They rebuilt that whole place. It is super nice. And I guarantee they all put their money together and practicing group economics.
You know what?
We want to break down each other. Like, why are you still staying at home? They doing this. Look, the thing that we make fun of, they're doing it and getting ahead.
You know why?
Brainwash. Willie Nitch. Oh, I said that in a couple way back. And if you
we still got the same fucking mentality. We haven't learned shit because we still don't want to face up to reality because we want to keep our head up our ass. That's why.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'll say live on my own podcast. For the person you make fun of staying at home, and then later on they put this shit together and they way far ahead, I'm gonna laugh at your ass. Because while you making fun of them, they're building.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna get pissed off when they pass your ass up.
And that is a pattern within the community. Why would you be pissed off at someone that's doing better than you when you have the opportunity to do the same or greater than them, but you choose not to? It's a choice. You choose not to do better. You choose not to be better, but you upset because they're doing better and making you feel some type of way because you know that your lazy ass should have been doing what you needed to be doing, but you wanted to just sit on your ass and expect and think somebody's supposed to come and hand you shit. Ain't nobody gonna hand you shit.
You know why I don't like that? Because it's forcing them to look at themselves. And I don't like that.
Well, cut the lights off.
You said be in the dark.
Cut the lights off. Shit, if you don't like looking at yourself, cut your lights off.
That part. But going back to Kamala
Harris, if your ass is ugly.
God, look, that part. So what? And they pointed, and we said this ourselves. So like, you can't just say this us. You said like basically making us look like a damn fool, shaking our ass on that damn stage. And making us like, what was president?
There's nothing wrong with it. People say there's nothing wrong with it.
But he said himself, and I said the same thing. Like, what the fuck is presidential about that? Nothing.
And she spoke 30 minutes.
Nothing.
30 minutes. You know how long?
Give me at least an hour. You're supposed to be speaking mostly like the leader of the
females, excluding the females. You know how long?
They normally stay in the shower or in the tub about 30 minutes. Some females stay in there about an hour. Hell, a woman staying in the tub about an hour or sometimes more, or in the bathroom or more. Shit, that's longer than what she was saying.
And again, look, it's gonna hurt some people's feelings. I don't give a fuck. This is the raw version of the podcast.
Well, they ain't really got the raw with me, because you know.
Oh yeah. And they sure enough would have been mad if Baker was.
Hey, ain't nobody been not mess with my boy Baker. You got to go through me to mess with my boy Baker.
That part. Man, oh man.
But as far as this Ukraine, man, it's gonna be some repercussion behind this shit. People looking at Ukraine doing there, but they don't realize United States is involved. So guess what? We're gonna end up getting our ass pulled into some shit rather than United States stay their ass out of all this shit.
So, you know, we don't like to mind our own business. You know, we got to get
because the United States has this white man's mentality of wanting to control everything and everybody, and it shows in the pattern of history.
Hey, but don't forget, we want to show that we're powerful. We want to be like, yes, we are the Almighty.
It's all about egos. It's all about egos and ignorance and greed. That's what it's all about. That's all it's about. It has nothing to do with what the Constitution is about.
Gosh.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How are you pursuing happiness when you living and you having the shit that's going on in other countries that's going to affect you? That's what people don't understand. What affect one person will come back and doesn't affect you. Some people call it karma.
You ain't never lied.
And if you don't think it ever happened, look at the history of the United States and the bullshit they've done. And people thought nothing would happen until 9/11 happened. Do I agree with that shit? No, I don't agree. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters that died. But when you don't pay attention to the patterns, and I keep saying the patterns of things, then you will not see and not be prepared in regards to what is going to happen. And 9/11 happened.
Which is a wake-up call.
Now, everybody wants to be separate. But some shit happened. Everybody don't want to come together. Well, we were never together in the beginning. And we'll never be together until the United States repent from all the bullshit it's done and has done, and people start changing and looking at things the way they need to be looking at, and not through an emotional state, but looking at the issue. Running up January 6th, was that wrong? Yes, I don't agree with that shit. Is there a different way? Possibly. But if it does need to happen, whose fault really is it? Don't be mad at the people that's sitting in the seats. Be mad at yourself because you fucked up and voted for the wrong person because you wanted this person to be something that they're not, and you knew that they were not, or you didn't do enough research to realize this motherfucker was a pedophile, or some shit like that, or he was stealing money, embezzling, but they overlooked it. You didn't do all that research, and if you did, then you would have never voted for him.
Oh, damn.
That's the problem with American people. That's the problem with people in our community. We don't want to read. We don't put the effort to understand what we're reading and understand who we're looking at, and be humble enough to say, hey, look, I thought this person was going to be good, but based on the issues, I have to be honest. I can't vote for this person. I mean, what's your take on it, man? You hear me talking, but what's your take?
I mean, I keep my answers short and simple. Like the biggest thing, everything you're saying, I agree with, and it's like a lack of taking accountability for the wrong decisions that we make. It's a cycle that happens all the time, and then we want to put blame on others or something else. That doesn't resolve anything. And that just happens. I mean, I believe that's universal in a lot of different things, from politics to how we move in war and much more. The fact that we don't want to take accountability for our actions and lean more on emotions than actual logic because it doesn't feel good has put us years behind. And only the time that we unite as one is when shit hits the fan, 9/11.
Oh, let me ask you a question. And I want you to look it up if you don't mind.
Okay.
What political party voted to give blacks the right to vote?
Oh, I can tell you right now, that's Republicans.
I want you to show us so the people that's watching, they get it. They get the point that I'm getting at. Both sides have blood on their hands. Democrats and Republicans both have blood on their hands because they use us like a pinball or a ball in a pinball machine, just bouncing us back and forth, bouncing. And we're too stupid to realize that's what they're doing. They're playing us. That's the other problem.
Trying to get
They want to be puppets. And they love being puppets. It's like being a house nigga and a field nigga. Going back and forth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you want to stay a house nigga. Because you want that pat on the head or a pat on the butt or a pat on the shoulder or whatever. No. No. Was you able to find it?
I was trying to give something like I'm reading this article from the History Channel. Matter of fact, we're just gonna break it down because it's coming phrase for like you because I wanted to be shown like, oh, here it is, straight to the point.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean, if they can read, they can get it. If they can't comprehend,
you know, yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna stop being
because
so
they
nice.
teach you how to read and comprehend in grade school, not in high school, but in grade school. Unless something changed that I don't know about, because I've been out of school for a minute.
I get what it's saying, but yeah. So when did African Americans actually get the right to vote? 15th Amendment, and I'm gonna skim over it, but like we will break it down. So we have Abraham Lincoln, of course, after the Reconstruction Union felt his successor Andrew Johnson, and
but the civil rights of blacks, the civil rights of blacks of 1964. What political party?
Let me see.
What political party that gave blacks the right to?
Let me find a shorter version.
And when you find out and when you see it, and if you find the right one, I'm going to point something out to you. See, I have books to read, but just because I read the books don't mean I don't research the information that's given by the author. Because the author can be bullshitting. And I've researched their ass too.
Right. You can go ahead and explain. I was trying to find something that's straight obvious. I get what it's saying from the history point.
No, just say who just ask the question. What political party? The Civil Rights Act. That's it. I'm telling you, you will trip out. And then I want you to look up, if you can, afterwards, Who passed? What political party that helped pass the voting rights?
As we get all this.
You need me to see? I have it. Do you need me to send it to you?
Yeah, just go ahead and send it to you. Send it to me.
Okay.
Because I'm getting like the broad explanation. I'm trying to make it simple for them.
That's the voting rights. Now, go down to where it says conference committee once you open it up. The second to the last sentence. I'm going to show you a pattern.
Talking about this House approves the...
Right there. See where it's highlighted? The House what? Read that.
Approve this conference report version of the bill on August 3rd by 328 to 74 vote Democrats, 217 to 54 Republicans.
Okay, so in the voting, the Democrats want black folks vote. Okay?
Okay.
You got that, right?
Yeah.
Now, let me get you who passed the Civil Rights Act. Let me get that to you. Okay, my computer's acting a little funny at the moment. Hold on, let me get this. I'm gonna go this way. But the point that I'm gonna prove is both parties do not give a rat's ass about the black community. All right, I'm about to send it to you now. Okay. There we go. Now, and to make it even more, I'll send this too. Now, when you look at it, how many Democrats voted not to pass the Civil Rights Act for black people of 1964?
Let's see. You talking about right here?
Mm-hmm.
Final vote was 209 to 130 in the House of Representatives. I'm trying to look for like the Pacific Party, unless I'm overlooking it.
It was the Republicans that pushed the Civil Rights Act to pass.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to find the number.
And the Democrats, the few Democrats that jumped on board with the Republicans, helped pass the Civil Rights Act for black folks.
So it was like back and forth, wishy-washy. It's like the Democrats like, yeah, we're going to push for this. Later on, Republicans, now we're going to push this off since y'all changed y'all mind.
Thank you. Look at the patterns. Even MLK, Frank, he saw it. He knew it. He called it out when he made the statement about America is giving us a blank check.
Not cash.
Cannot be this. Yeah. So it's a pattern. Neither party really gives a rat's ass. So if neither party gives a rat's ass, why don't we just focus on the issue? That's what the Jewish community does. That's why they are doing as well as they do.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Both have blood on their hands, and both have issues.
And that's my point.
Hoo-wee. Well, as we come to close things out, man, what do you want to leave the audience with, and where can they find you?
And you can find me at In the Trenches Podcast every Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And check us out on our new merchandise, real and raw. Because you know what we do? We call it. What does it say? We say
bullshit.
If you want something real, most people don't like it because guess what? We real.
Right,
We're not fake, and we don't pamper and baby. We tell you like it is.
Whether
So
you
if
like
don't
it or
like
not.
it ain't for you. But we're gonna still give you information, just like what I just talked about. However it comes out, if you're sensitive, guess what? You need to move on. Still stuck on your Similac.
God damn. And of course, as always, it's your host, Chris Holmes, C. Holmes, as you can find me on all the social media platforms. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel and keep things going. If you have any topics you want us to discuss, don't be afraid to message and send me comments as well so we can bring it to the table and discuss the things that you are afraid of, because we not. That's what it's all about. So with that said, I guess I'll leave y'all with something like this. My little closing remarks. What is the actual answer for peace? What's the true answer for peace? With the midst of everything go on, I want you to go ahead and sit on that. But make sure that you check us out next time. Same day as always. And peace out.